You may be wondering, why should I care about the stages of grief? Aren't they just too theoretical for what I'm going through in my pet loss grief? Because when you've lost your pet, you're not thinking about stages. You're thinking, why do I feel so overwhelmed? Why are my emotions all over the place? Hi there. Welcome to Pet Loss Support with Joanne. My name is Joanne Berg. I am an experienced therapist and a certified grief educator. I am so passionate about helping others in their pet loss grief. I've been there myself. In one of my earlier videos, I briefly touched on the stages of grief. Since then, I've received messages, emails really, from people asking, can you explain this in a way that actually helps? So today I want to walk you through the stages in a way that may help you practically, not theoretically, with your pain so that you can step back from the intensity, begin to name what you are feeling in a safe and non-judgmental space. Understand these emotions and feel a little more grounded in your grief. And as we go through each stage, I am going to share real experiences from clients who gave permission to share and how naming these emotions helped them begin to understand emotionally what they were going through. So let's begin with a little bit of theory over the actual origin of the stages of grief. The stages of grief were first described by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a psychiatrist who worked with terminally ill patients and observed patterns in how people respond to loss. She identified 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. These were never meant to be rigid or in any order, but a way to understand and name emotions in grief. David Kessler, a renowned grief expert who I got my certification from, worked with Kubler-Ross on a 6th stage, finding meaning, carrying the relationship forward. There is light at the end of this tunnel. Now, research shows that pet bonds can be as emotionally significant as human ones. So these stages also apply to people experiencing pet loss grief. So let's talk about denial. This means, or you can feel, I still expect to hear my pet. How can this be happening? I worked with my client to see this as a protective response, not something wrong. This is your mind giving you some time to process what is going on. Now there's anger. This was also explored in detail in my last video. One client said, I felt angry, then calm, then I saw people walking their dogs and felt sad and angry all over again. I was really brought up to grin and bear it, not feel it. So in our sessions, we explored how grief is complex and that how we expressed it came from old wounds. It holds multiple emotions at once. How you can hold that grief and be activated by many things. When understood, we talked about accepting these feelings and naming where they are coming from. Feelings are not meant to be kept at bay, and there is no shame in talking openly about them, especially in a safe space that is non-judgmental. Once we unpacked the different layers, my client said, I still feel angry and sometimes activated, but in a manageable way. I can now go outside and see other dogs and even smile a little. Now, another stage is bargaining, and that can be interpreted as I keep replaying everything about my dog's last day over and over and over again. I wake up in the morning and it's still there. And I say, if only. So we slowed the repetitive thoughts by separating facts from mental replay. In other words, getting the true facts about what happened at the vet's the day that she lost her pet. So compassion eventually replaced self-blame. Now, depression is another phase, and this was from my client. The house feels empty. I feel empty. I can only sleep. So we allowed this feeling without rushing it. Small structure, baby steps actually, like going for a walk or even cleaning out the dishwasher, reduced overwhelm. Now, acceptance is also a stage, and this was how it was explained by my client. I know that my feelings will come and go, but I understand myself more. I still love my pet, but I am more at peace. My client actually stepped away from counseling at this point, as he was able to realize that he could still carry his grief, yet still move on. Now, furthering this concept is the stage of finding meaning. And my client said, I can talk about my pet now with more peace and understanding. We explored how love continues through memory and connection, but in ways that were specific to him. An interesting example from this client, he had his car license plate changed to his late pet's name. In closing, relating the stages of grief to your own experience may help you name your emotions, and it's been shown that this really helps in resolving issues. Understand them and step back from them for a bit. I can help you slow things down, make sense of your emotions, reduce the intensity, bring compassion back into your life. Have you ever experienced any of these stages? Remember, this is one of many things that may help you in your pain. Let's talk. I will meet you exactly where you are. Let's sort this out together in a way that is right for you. Even 1 or 2 sessions can help. You can reach me directly at petlossandbereavement.com or joannebergen1@gmail.com. The important takeaway is that you are not doing this wrong. You are grieving. It is so hard. Grief is a reflection of your deep bond in love. If you are watching today, please subscribe and comment. And please take care. And I'll see you next time.